Alright, what is up YouTube? HPJ here, and I'm coming to you guys today with a very special visit to the prehistoric era, mixed with a bit of some junk support. So, and by junk, I don't actually mean junk, I mean scrap. But, yeah, we got I have an update for you guys on my Dinosaur deck, and I, of course, am including some familiar faces because I'm adding a bit of Scrap Monster support to this as well. This is a really cool thing because the new Scrap Monster um, is really working well with Dinosaur. It's a really good card, and I cannot wait to talk about it because a lot of people have been talking about this card overall. So let me go ahead and we go into the Dinosaur deck profile. So starting off with the dinosaurs. We'll start with the big guys. 2 copies of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, 2 copies of Overactor Atlas, 1 copy of Dino Wrestler Pancreatops for the little, for the little guys. Powerful level force. 3 copies of Missile Ceratosaurus, 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor, 1 copy of Giant Rex, 2 copies each of Baby Ceratosaurus, Petite Pterodon, and 2 copies of Armad. I'm always going to pronounce this monster's name wrong, so I do pronounce it, but I'm going to go with Archeosaur, or Jeweled Dinosaur Archeosaur. That's how the Japanese name is for it. The original name for it is. Then we got 2 copies of Scrap Chimera and 2 copies of Scrap Raptor joining the fray. And then last but not least are the hand traps of choice. 2 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Springs with 3 copies of Psyframe Gamma and 1 copy of Psyframe Driver. For the spell cards, of course, 3 copies of Fossil Dig, 2 copies of Double Evolution Pill, 2 copies of Lost World, 1 copy of Terraforming, and 3 copies of Forbidden Droplets. So that is it for the main. For the extra, 1 copy of Barrel Load Savage Dragon, 1 copy of Psyframe Lord Omega. For the Exceed Monsters, 2 copies of Evil Sar Logia, 2 copies of Evil Sardulka, 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. And then let's look at these linked monsters. 1 copy of Linkuriboh, 2 copies of Scrap Wyvern, 1 copy of Psyframe Lord Lambda, I'll just say Lumdar. 1 copy of Psyframe Lambda, 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, 1 copy of Appaloosa, the Bow of the Goddess, and 1 copy of Excess Code Talker. So that's pretty much it. It says on the lineup for all of the cards here. So let's actually talk about this. So, first off is the new additions for the Scrap Monsters. We have Scrap Raptor. Because I don't think I've actually talked about this monster. If I did, I'm kind of glad I did. But just to reiterate, this is a level 4 Earth Attribute Machine type. No, Dinosaur type tuner monster. 1400 attack, 1000 defense. So what it does is that you can target 1 monster you control and destroy it. You also gain an additional normal summon of a scrap monster during your main phase of this turn, in addition to your normal summoner set, which you only gain this effect once per turn. Now, if this card is destroyed by a scrap effect, you can send this card to the graveyard. You can add 1 scrap factory or 1 non-tuner scrap monster from your deck to your hand, and you can use each effect of this card once per turn. So, the great thing about Scrap Raptor is its ability to destroy other cards. That way you can get other cards' effects going off on the field. And because of how the dinosaurs have been working lately, being destroyed by your own card effects triggers their card effects. So you get more monsters onto the board. Now, the combination of things that you do is that the Scrap Raptor is supposed to help you go get this guy. This is Scrap Chimera, who has the ability to special summon any scrap monster in your graveyard to the field. Any scrap tuner, from the graveyard to the field. So it is great in retrieving Scrap Raptor, and you're not going to synchro with this. Ironically enough, you're going to actually link summon with this to get out your Scrap Wyvern And Scrap Wyvern's going to summon more monsters and destroy cards as well. So you kind of see the whole thing here. It's a combination of getting monsters onto the board to destroy other cards and then bringing cards back to get more things going. In the process of that, you're filling up your graveyard and you're just leading on to other cards being played. So, in combination with Dinosaur, in terms of Scrap Raptor, you have targets like Baby Ceratosaurus, you got Petite Pterodon, you can even take advantage of Jeweled Archosaur. Just a lot of things you can easily take advantage of with this card. Mainly just these two, because I know I mentioned Archosaur, but yeah, you got a lot of advantage when it comes to destroying these two because these two bring out more monsters. Now, in terms of those monsters that they bring out, of course, you got the big guys up here. You got Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, who is your boss monster, knocking down things with its 3,500 attack, being able to flip cards face down, so that way your opponent can't do no crazy shenanigans on you, and then inflicting 1,000 points of damage to your opponent for every time it swings at a monster and sends it to the graveyard. So, yeah, the Dinosaur support is live, it's active, and it just keeps getting better and better, honestly. Now, some people may say this may not be a card to be using, but I do like Overtech Quit Atlas. I like the fact that it's an additional card to go get my evolution pills. It's an additional big beat stick to have on the board. It's so many different benefits to having this card that I kind of still run this card. And it's still a very resourceful dinosaur, if anything. Um, from there, we got the one Pancreatops just to pop stuff. The Giant Rex, because it can maneuver through very swiftly with all the different effects that are banishing monsters from the graveyard, essentially dinosaurs. And even though it can't attack directly, it's perfectly fine. Just being able to have such a big beat stick at your arsenal can be very helpful. Offensive, defensive effects of the Ceratosaurus, and then being able to touch some more dinosaurs through this monster's effect. You have the effects of Lighting Overdrive, which is one of your big combo plays because of the fact that it will be able to take dinosaurs, either add them to your hand or send them to their graveyard. Then being able to destroy monsters on your field, and then being able to special summon other dinosaurs in their place from the graveyard. We already talked about the scraps, and then we have, of course, baby Pterosaurus and Petite Pterodon. Most likely your optional choices for what you're going to be popping in your hand or in the or on the field. While Baby Ceratosaurus is going to get the level 4 or lower dinosaurs, Petite Pterodon can get the level 4 or higher dinosaurs onto the field. This helps with the Exceed summoning, the Link summoning, the Synchro summoning, all the crazy shenanigans you can easily do with them. If it wasn't for the fact that Archosaur was a thing, you'd probably be running multiples of these anyway. But Archosaur is here in addition to, of course, helping you destroy more dinosaurs in your hand or on the field. Being able to either get Beast Warrior, or Winged Beast monsters who share that same level to your hand. I'm sorry, not Beast. Reptile, Sea Serpent, or Winged Beast monsters, which that's only afraid if you're doing the combination of the deck that works with some more the Bird of Sovereignty and the Barrier Sexual Stormwind. However, this deck is going straight for the Evolution Pill, another option besides over X to actually go get the Evolution Pill card if needed. Then we have, of course, our hand traps of choice. You have the Ash Blossom Enjoyous Spring, so that way you can deal with those nasty effects that she can deal with. And then you have monster effects to be negated thanks to Gamma. The only issue I have with Gamma is that it does rely on the driver. I would love to run multiple driver. The only problem is you don't want to draw those, like, at all. You want this card to survive onto the field. The only downside to this card, honestly, is that it is a brick. That's it, because everything else works perfectly fine. And I wish it was a lot easier to destroy, but at a point, once you start synchro summoning, or you start using cards like, I didn't put Alchemy Firebricks on here, but an optional card is Alchemy Firebricks. But we'll talk about another monster that can work similar to that in just a moment. That's you, Lambda. Now, Let's go on to the spell cards. We got the triple copies of Fossil Dig. They're the Rhoda for, of course, the Dinosaur monster. So you can bring Dinosaur easily to your hand. We got the Double Evolution Pill to help you go either get over Tech with Atlas, or you can drop, of course, the big guy himself, the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. You're gonna probably have a lot of targets anyway because of a lot of the things that this deck does. So don't worry about being non-dinosaur monsters. Just know that a lot of the stuff here will recycle itself in terms of dinosaur monsters. Speaking of dinosaurs in their hitting the board, here is Lost World. Still relatively good for all of the advantages that you take. Putting tokens onto the field, your monsters attack and defense. Your opponents, all monsters that are not dinosaurs, losing 500 attack and defense. Um, Simply just having tokens on the board so that literally they're going to be affected by cards instead of yours. So just have a lot of things you need to do with those tokens under a field spell. Excuse me, a field spell. And I honestly have said this before. These field spells keep getting crazy and crazier, and then you see a lot of the generic field spells before getting hit, such as the one copy of Terraforming. If this was more so of the true Draco build, you know that I would be taking advantage of set rotation as well as Terraforming. Or putting Demise of the Land in here, just, to quickly get into Lost World. So we move on from there, and the only other spell to talk about is, of course, the Forbidden Droplet. This is a really good counteractive if you can afford it. If you can't, you have Effect Veilers, you have Infinity Impermanence, and you have Dark Ruler No More. I know Dark Ruler No More is getting very expensive. I already know this is kind of still high in its price range, so you still, if you can get to either one of these, go for it. Because I know the cheapest one of this is the common, and I know it's like 4 or 5 now. So I don't know how high it's gotten up, but effect veilers are common, effect veilers are rare, they're super, they're ultra. You can easily fit them in if you can't get two forbidden droplets. The other option that I didn't put here, but it can be an option, is Chalice. And I know it sounds like a risky card to play around with, but some people have tried Chalice just because Droplet hasn't been a thing physically. So, moving on from there, we go on to the extra deck. We got the two big evolve swords. We got Logia and Dolka. You can switch them up however you want, but these are two great cards for dinosaurs. Have the access to, you have Dolka and its double negate for monster effects, and you have the solemn effect thanks to Logia. Now, with that being said, the One Abyss Dweller is just here to deal with graveyard effects. It can be a swap out if needed, but it's something for graveyard effects if that ever becomes an issue. You got our two synchro monsters. We have Psyframe Lord Omega, who is very generic of its own. One tuner and one more non-tuners. So, the thing with Psyframe Lord Omega is that Omega is just here to recycle. That's literally all it does. If you ever did get the chance to drop Gamma in Cypherine Driver, then you'll at least be able to drop this. Because your opponent can activate stuff on your turn, and this can get you an easy access to Cypherine Lord Omega. We will talk in combination, there can be some chances where you can team up with Cypherine Lord Lambda. While Lambda can also help you with the whole retrieve and setup thing. So not retrieve and setup, but the setup, retrieve and setup. Because Lambda can get ciphering cards from your deck to put them into your hand. That way it'll be a lot faster to get to Gamma if you haven't drawn into Gamma. And then you can drop your Gamma on your turn against your opponent to stop their monster effects and then synchro into the Omega. And then you can at least find a way to cycle back of the driver. Because the only thing about it is that you're running the one driver. But luckily enough, Cyframe Omega is a generic synchro, so you're doing okay with that. And then Barrel Sword, another generic synchro summon. And it takes advantage of your link monsters, so you can have the counters to negate your opponent's stuff as well. Then we go on to our link monsters. It's playing around with link climb, if anything, and then when stuff comes to worse, you have some things to help you deal with that. Link Karibo for attacks. You have the double Scrap Wyverns to combo with Scrap Raptor and the Scrap Chimera, and then being able to blow up stuff as well. You also, like I said, we talked about Lambda is the recycler and the setup for your side frames. Uh, Spell and Child removal with Phoenix, bounce with the unicorn. Appaloosa is an option, if anything, because I know there are cheaper Appaloosas now thanks to Gold Series. So if you have that Master Negate, take advantage of it. The only thing is you can't use tokens for Appaloosa summon, but if Appaloosa is not your thing, you can drop Appaloosa, you can throw in some other stuff. You can like throw in Harpie Fibrex for Appaloosa, or maybe even Appaloosa can be helped to or summoned thanks to Harpie Fibrex. And then you have the excess code talker, which is another heavy hitter that can easily take out stuff if needed. Especially because this deck, I mean, it has its options to taking out huge monsters, but if anything, it's just another option. So, with all that said, let's actually talk about some of the stuff in the side deck, which can be some opts into things or ideas that you can play around with. Some variations are actually taking advantage of re report Rapidus, Reporsi. I'm getting cards names. It happens. Reprodus is to help actually get into some more. I think by believe turning someone into a dinosaur, whichever one is it's pointing to. Then, because it's linked to that monster will be a winged beast, you go into some more, and then some more will help you drop the berry statue of the storm. It's something that I honestly just started recently seeing. I know it's been going on for a while with Dinosaur, and that's also because I think it has something to do with Archeosaur. And Archosaur being able to help with that. So yeah, that is an option. If anything, help with Fibrex because it helps speed up being IP Master right now. But I also forgot to drop here. There is the combos with the Scrap Golem that I recently seen because it helps. Scrap Golem helps you just get to your other scrap monsters and putting them onto the board. Um, we've already been through the negation of monster effects with these three. And if your options for your extra deck, if you can't get a barrel sword and you can't get an excess code talker, try a lot of the other rank fours. Unchained Abomination, and then Draco Berserker of the TNE. It's also a good thing because a lot of monsters are effect monsters, and he stops a lot of their abilities. Or no, I think he banishes them. Yeah, he banishes a lot of monster effects. He doesn't negate them, unfortunately, but it does take advantage of that, and then his power boosts as well. So, just some added ideas in case anybody wanted some variation. Just wanted some things to explore around. So, that is pretty much it for the dinosaurs. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it, and I'm sure a lot of you guys cannot wait to play around with dinosaurs once we do get access to, um, which actually is in a couple of weeks now, Lightning Overdrive. So, yeah, we'll have Scrap Raptor there. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as it helps out tremendously. Also, hit the notification bell next to the subscription box so you guys can be informed of when I do upload more content. Social media links are in the description box below, so you guys can interact with me there on social media. And of course, the Patreon, so you guys can help support the channel any possible way you can. If you have the money, if you want to, you can help there. So, thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you all next time. HBJ, signing out. Take care.